So the next thing I want to actually talk about and shine light on is value. Entertainers have always found it, especially where we are from, hard to translate or communicate that value to a paying customer or a client. You know, sometimes you know your work is amazing. You put in so much into it, but then a client comes to you and wants to make you feel, some of them even want to make you feel like it's not valuable and it's worthless or it's not as, you know.
They are pricing fish.
Yes, they'll start pressing you like.
Pricing
So
fish.
what has that experience been like, and how has that impacted your growth or, you know, your decisions in how you run your business? Because the truth is, people need to also realize that entertainers are business. I mean, when I was leaving corporate industry, I talked to my father and I said, so what are you going to do if you're losing your job? I said, Daddy, I am the business. But people need to understand that entertainers are products, business, and it has to be seen. Yeah, that respect. So yeah.
I think it's one of those growing pains aspects of the job of, you know, doing creating or entertaining or whatever it is. One of the things I think I've definitely, I mean, I always, if Wofai off air we're talking about she having a manager. If you can have a manager, if you don't want to do that yourself, I think it's a fantastic thing. One of the things I do is I try to make things very formal. So please don't be DMing me to be, you know, emails. Let's you know, emails. And people have to they need to come with what it is that they want exactly. Try to make sure you have your own like mini contract as well if you can. You know, have your statutory things that you know in place, whether it's you want a certain percentage of your pay beforehand, so that you are not going to be dragging somebody on Twitter that they've not paid you, they didn't pay you your money. You know, so I think that you need to be very formal. Try to be as formal and as professional as possible about your negotiations. But I think also understanding that negotiating is a psychological game, and one person wants to get the best deal, so everybody's trying to beat another person down, and you need to not be afraid of walking away. Life is tough sometimes. Life is tough sometimes. You know, hunger is a real thing. We need the cash, but I think if you can also decide, you know. Also, another thing I would say is like, try to give yourself a bare minimum that you never go beneath. So even if it's like, oh, they say it's a charity, they say it's a this, you know that you can never go beneath this, and you look at that, okay, this one can cover so and so and so. So you don't, because I think those things are also very debilitating experiences for you. You start feeling worthless. People forget, like,
people
it's not just it's like they're beating you. It's like you've done this thing for 10 years. Someone now tell you, just come, it's just 20K now, sharp. And you're just like, even if I need to wipe well, like really.
But one thing that, because this is said a lot, but it's not said enough, that while you're increasing your price or whatever, you should increase your skill too.
Oh, absolutely.
You should increase your value. You cannot be setting price at a particular and then you're still giving rubbish a service.
Yes.
You know, I see a lot, especially a lot of this. Let me just call it out now. A lot of designers just overprice their stuff for no reason. You know, just because, is it because it's not Ralph Lauren? A Ralph Lauren shirt will be, if you go and buy Ralph Lauren now, it will be $6,000. Why can't it be so I'm going to price my own $5,000? You can't do that because you're not Ralph Lauren. I'm buying your own. I turn the thing inside out. There's a thread sticking out from somebody's.
Finishing is bad.
Your problem. So what makes you feel that you are not Ralph Lauren because I'm trying to set my value? No, bro. Also set your work, set your fabric, set your sewing, because Ralph Lauren is paying attention to their sewing as well. They're not just making it $6,000 just because, you know. So a lot of people, while you're saying I want to set my value, also set your work rate and your skill and your value as in your service and as a human being and what you're giving to the
I think
thing.
it's also great to have like milestones, even with what you're doing. Okay, you've done this, you can, you know, the money has gone up, you've done that, because I think sometimes there's an arbitrary nature of pricing too, especially for us in Nigeria. Somebody can just wake up and say, make I just try my luck. You know, I just ask them for one name, you cannot know.
But there's also
it annoys me a lot.
One of the things that plays into that is also because especially when we enter the business newly, we don't know how to price ourselves because it's not a conversation that people have enough. They don't know how much.
We lie about it.
There are people say, just you know, charge the going rate. You don't know the going rate because nobody tells you what is being charged or what they're charging you through. So you actually always have to feed off of what there's a tension between what you're giving and what they're willing to give. But you have to find that balance. How much do people value you? How much do you think they're willing to give for your value?
You as a person have to know your value.
Yes, that is it.
You have to know your value. When I didn't know my value, they call me, just call me. I'll just say, give me money for food. I don't even tell you to give me. Just fill my car. I'm there. As long as I have food to eat that day, I'm going. And the thing is, whenever I check my bank account and check my work is more than what is in the account. I don't even have money. I'm like, what am I doing to myself? I'm always angry. I'm drained. Until I got to the point where I'm like, you know what? I'm not doing. And immediately I started saying I'm not doing. The money, they started paying me more. I'm like, so you've been using me and you were enjoying it.
Oh, yes.
Wow. I started saying no to a lot of things. So it became, oh, she's arrogant. What does she think she is? I'm like, I found myself. Pay me this money or don't worry. I'll go and sip Gary at home. And they started paying me. So know your value.
Peace of mind in drinking your Gary.
But there's such a problem in the fact that we don't talk about money. And we lie as well. I've known so many times where other colleagues of mine have come to me and say, oh, Wana, I got this job for a presenting job or something. What, I don't know what to ask for.
Million.
I don't know what to ask for. And even beyond the million, there are so many other things you must think about. You must think about if it's a brand, it means you're not going to be able to do anything for any other brand in that area as well. So you're also charging for all the work that you're being excluded from. So there's so many things, conversations that need to be had. And I'm always like, they're always so thankful. I'm like, this thing, didn't you ask around? And they're like, nobody, they will lie to you.
There's something that Aka used to tell me, because we've been friends for years. So there's something Aka used to tell me, like when I started, when I started having like a bubbling single and when I was in demand. So I still used to take useless amounts of money because I was just happy to be there. Like, they said, come and perform 50K. I said, let's go. Come on, 100K, wow. Like, I was just so happy to just sing. I was like, but people are paying me to sing, wow. But I had a hit single, Gentleman, at the time. So Aka called me, said, come. I said, what? He said, how much did they pay you for this show? I said, they just paid me 70K. So he'd be like, why did they pay you? Why is it you they're thinking about when they have 70K? Why is it you? That means that when they have 1 million naira, they won't think of you. So stop taking that 70K. Why is it always you they're thinking of when they are saying 70K? Let's call Ric Hassani. Why? And if you put more money in those people's hands, they'll call you.
But the thing is, you don't have to regret it because that's what has built you.
Honestly.
You understand? You look back, you know that even when you say no, you know that you've actually paid your dues. Do you understand? So it's okay.
And I think there's also something to be said for trying to not be pure water. You got to prevent yourself from being pure water as well. And that's the thing that you spoke about, increasing your skill sets so that you have something that sets you apart. So when you are saying, I'm charging this, they know that, Wofai is premium money because she's going to give us this and this and that. It might not even be, that money they're paying might not just be in the skits. It is
now my rate card said I've been interviewed by CNN. Yes. It's easy. If easy, go make the interview now. Are you okay?
It's also that they are exchanging and using your brand equity.
Yes,
that you are on TV, you are on this, you are on that, you are on all this. So they are not paying for the skits. They are paying for Wofai to do this. And that's what you have to think about as well. So you are not pure water. So you cannot, you can't. So at the end, to be honest, you probably at some point can only probably do 10 skits in a year. Because one a month and the last 2 months shut down.
So I think that for me, my negotiation skills are very funny. First of all, I let you know that I'm ready to walk away. Secondly, when respect is no longer served, I can walk out. And my friends know. I just said I'm not going to do it. When you start a conversation with, I think this is going to be one of the best opportunities for you, blah, blah, blah. I say, this is how you talk when you want to use somebody. And you know what? They let you also know that there are some people who can do it for even less. And it's quite frankly, it's true. There's some people who can, because why? Young artists are overly ambitious. There's so much in his to be out there. And I don't blame them, because, everybody's super talented, but they do not have, the platform to. So they just rush. But I always tell people that what I'm bringing to the table, what I'm bringing to an event, it is not what you can find elsewhere. And I say it very confidently because I know the amount of work that I put into my job and my singing. So when I appear, first of all, I appear correct. When I open, and there's one time, there was a time that he called me in one government house like that. And they were saying, the money is too busy. I said, do you know what I'm bringing? I mean, you cannot find it again, in the whole of that town where I'm coming from. And I've understood that some people like a very confident person. Some people, if you say, I want 100K for this thing, some people will start saying, this 100K is not too small. Are you sure this person can? There's some people that want you to say 1 million actually, and they'll be like, okay, that guy was saying 100K, so how was he going to achieve the same thing? Do you understand? So I think that we need to, the value that you place on yourself, when you place certain, people will see it. These days, when I want to go and sing, I first ask, who's this DJ that is playing? Because apart from the money, apart from the money I'm getting from you, it's first precious before even your money. Because I'm singing to maybe 1,000 people, 1,500 people, who will say, this person sounds good, or this person sounds bad because of bad sound and everything.
You know how powerful
These days.
word of mouth is?
Yes. So these days,
No word of mouth.
I'm
What
coming.
was spoken word.
On bad news,
So
flies
this,
faster.
So these days, I tell them that, see, listen, when I finish saying what I'm bringing to this event is going to be top class, and then I come, and the sound guy is trying to mess me up. At one event, I made everybody, because I did sound check for 2, I'm the one who will do sound check for 2 hours for a 5-minute performance, to be sure that everything is perfect. And so I finished sound check, and when it's time for me to sing, I don't know what they did. I could not hear anything. In the middle of the performance, I stopped. And I apologized to everybody and said, this is not the sound that I heard when I came in. So can we just have 5 minutes to fix it? We started fixing it. And immediately the sound came on. They said, everybody started saying, so why was it not sounding like this for this sound guy? Do you understand? Wow. So yes, that's the amount of, and I put, it must come out nice. See, even if I'm coming to do a 2 minutes happy birthday song for you, you will love it.
You see, Precious, your energy level. See, all of us.
I'm looking at him, I'm like, no, but it's incredible, and I wanted to say, like, respect will keep you in this game more than popularity. I wasn't earning more when I was more popular. I was earning more when I was more respected. That's what will keep you more. And me, I hold my respect very tight. I'm the one that you can ask people. If you pay me for a show and I see your flyer and you spell my name wrong,
He'll return your money back.
Yeah, ask him.
He'll send it back to you.
And maybe
It's not a matter of anger.
It's not anger.
And it's not. It's just okay. You know what? It's fine.
I'm sorry.
You're not my
I can't
crowd.
do it. It's not. It's Hassani. It's not Hassani. Or Hassani. Or 3. How will you spell my name? Is
You
my
don't even know
most
me.
valuable asset.
Yes.
My name will open doors for my kids when I'm gone.
Yes.
And you're spelling my name wrong. Take your money back. Take your money. We're gonna make them again. I've said it before on Twitter. People say, they say I'm proud. It's not proud. See, do you know how powerful a name is? Even Jesus will tell you, see, call my name first. Before, you know what it be name? No.
You know what?
I don't
This
joke with my
energy-
name at all.
Wow, can we take a
I'm so
breather? Can
inspired.
we just take like so this energy is deep.
understand that you're not for everybody.
Not once,
sweet milk, there's
not 10 times.
There are so many.
I return your money.
Milk. So if you feel like me that I'm sweet milk, I'm not good for you. What is
God said, I can recommend a lot of almond milks for you. But it's not gonna be me.
Guys, let's Precious, see what you don't cause.
It's his confidence.
All right, I love the confidence. I love the energy. This is Life Podcast is sponsored by Enterprise Life Nigeria, and you can follow them on social media at Enterprise Life Nigeria.
Is here with Enterprise Life Assurance. Our decades of experience in the West African markets will help you achieve your dreams with peace of mind. Visit www.mynterprisegroup.io/NG or call 0700 Enterprise to know more. Enterprise Life. Your advantage.
But as entertainers again, we are confident. We've gone to the place of Zen, freedom, but there's also a place of vulnerability. And I think every one of us gets to that point when we have to release that work, release that sound, release that poem, release that video, release that first note in your art. There's always a place where vulnerability is always on the other side. Confidence is the equilibrium. It move like this. And what I want to hear a vulnerable moment that will resonate. A story.
Oh, okay. Let me start with that. let me talk about my single "Thunder Fire You." So,
Thunder fire you and your friends.
Hey, Wofai. But I wrote that song 2.5 years ago. Yes, when I wrote it to get over the Momu situation. So I wrote it as, when you understand when maybe something happens to you and you want to just joke about it, just so that you can laugh about it whenever you think about it instead of being sad about it. So that's why I wrote that song. So when it came to recording my album, I sang the song jokingly, and my producer was like, which song be that? This song we go use. And me, I'm like, how will my single be Thunder Fire? Like, how, It was like, no, that's the song. And it was very hard for me to agree to it because I was like, I'm no longer in this place, But my guys kept on telling me, see, Rick, it's no longer about you again now. This song, no be you get them now. There are a lot of people that are still in that place that you need to give that. But it was I'm telling you, it may have looked easy. I've never said this before. It may have looked easy for me to release because it's a nice song, it's a catchy song, it's a hit song. But it was very hard for me. Even sometimes when I sing it now, it makes me feel somehow. You know what I mean? Because I'm
the girl in Lagos.
This one won't go fine. but I'm so happy. I'm so happy and proud of myself that I released that song because it's maturity really. Yeah. Because I had to every time I have to disconnect from the song and give it to people. So yeah.
So I think for me, my last album was definitely one of those experiences where, so the album before was called In Memory of Forgetting. And I remember I had like a whole, media plan. I did the album. I dropped it at radio stations. I mean, I worked on radio before. I knew everybody at radio stations. I dropped it. It was like one station that played it. Nobody else was playing anything. Then maybe it was weird places like in Calabar and Port Harcourt and Jos. They were bumping it there. But in Lagos, nobody was playing it. A lot of people were my friends on air, but it was just like one particular station. And so I remember I even did, I got people to do like sort of articles and write-ups about it. There was somebody that was supposed to write something and he wrote something terrible in the air. Well, it's something that was not very favorable. I was just like, So when you're sad and you have done plan everything, this is how this is going to be. So I think after that, I just had this I just went in somewhat insecure mode that, this thing is just very niche. Nobody sends it. Nobody cares. So I remember my last album, Transcendence, because it was funny because when I released it, people thought that was actually the strategy, that I did not do any PR, no nothing. I just said, oh, guys, I just had an album. This is it.
Beyonce style.
So then people were like, oh, my God, is it? I said, strategy what? I was just afraid that just in case nobody is going to listen, let me not disgrace myself, And that's something that happens every single time. Every time you're about to get on a stage or every time you're about to release something, you're like, what if they just look at it and stroll past, nobody likes it, nobody, cares. And then later on, you're seeing everybody quoting your lines and sharing it, and literally crying and saying, oh my God, this album did this for me and did that for me. So yeah, it's one of those, like the insecurity is one of those things that comes with the work that we do. But I think it's also something that keeps us humble. You never know. And I think we need that. It's important. Yeah. Especially because you're constantly getting like public adulation with the work that you do. Yeah. You need something that just says that, the fee no send you.
Wofai, have you ever felt like have you ever misjudged your audience? Like, how artists go into a studio or comedians say, man, this set is going mad die. This will go mad die. And then the reaction was different.
That's why I never did stand-up comedy. Because I respect. In short, the first day I came on stage, I looked at everybody. I didn't know what to say. I just told them, give me a moment. I went inside. It's not like I didn't have what to say, but the expectation, everybody was like, I say, you people, what's going on?
Let me go back.
You're depending on me to make you laugh. You're on a long thing. You're on a long thing. I went backstage and then I came out. I don't know what I said, Sha. I can't remember what I said, but they were Sha laughing. Maybe I was expecting more, but I just felt like, no climb stage. Yeah. And then they called me again to come and do stand-up in Dubai. I said, I've not conquered Nigeria. Is it Dubai? And the thing that helped it was people already loved me. So immediately I came on stage in Dubai, they were already shouting. So that gave me some sort of confidence. So I started cracking jokes. But deep inside, I'm like, leave this thing.
Yeah.
Leave it.
Bad.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, when I'm around people, they tend to laugh. But the idea of just coming on stage and standing and start cracking jokes is like action. It's overwhelming.
Yeah.
Precious, do you ever feel like you have the responsibility to make social change with your art, with your voice?
Yes. Not necessarily, not just when I'm singing. I feel like because I'm a singer, I'm able to get a lot of people to listen to me. So I'm very careful what I communicate to my audience. So I'm communicating happiness, peace, love. Also, I'm now even careful with stuff that I post, and so it has to be, yes, it's just like something that I don't want to talk about, but I mean, I'm very careful with what, because I feel like when I say something, people take it seriously. So yes, so if it's easy for me to say love this person and I take it seriously, I better rather do it than say hate this person. So yes, I think that my music can do that, and therefore it can.
Oh yeah, of course, man. Of course. He has already said everything I would have wanted to say. I mean, like we are, when you're in this kind of space, you have to know that everything you're saying is important.
You have to be responsible.
You have to respond. Like somebody else can say it, nothing else is going to
Yes.
when you say it, it's like, how can you? What do you mean? How about this guy has been saying this? But so you have to know like what the effect that what you say and do can cause. So you have to be on check. That's why it's important to just know who you are in this position. If not, oh boy, you will misfire and you just get depressed, and that's how you want to just end. You have to know who. See, even if it means at a point, I had to write down who I was, and I stick it in my room.
I love that. Why? It's not an easy journey.
Kind. I am this. Just so that I can always
Remember.
know.
You have to
Because
remember.
sometimes you can be lost in
Of
this
course.
whole.
You don't want to get lost in
chase.
the
You want to
sauce.
get lost.
Oh, yeah.
You got a person to snap one or two. Your mind have gone.
I think knowing who
So have to
you
know
are
who
and
you are.
self-love, they work together.
Oh yeah.
Those two things. If you don't love yourself, and even though you know who you are, you miss it.
Oh yes.
So those two things. I just discovered. Yes.
People still judge you.
Precious own it. Precious.
As far as I'm not hurting anybody, as far as I'm not directly, I mean even indirectly, as far as I'm not hurting you, just allow me.
Release him.
He said, see, put yourself first, because people, they will want
You
you.
do good, they talk. You do. So there's no, you cannot please it. There's still that one person who says, I'm very uncomfortable with the way you did it. But you did it just the way it's meant
absolutely.
to be.
So what is the end game in closing?
Love yourself. Sorry, who did you
Wofai, what is the end game for you?
The end game for me is know your value, love yourself, and just be real with yourself.
Yeah.
The world will adjust.
Yeah.
The world will adjust.
I think for every also entertainers, finding that pivoting moment where you have to get into something else. I mean, look at Rihanna. She's now becoming a billionaire. Like a couple of days. The music which they do for many years, For you started doing business. You started selling food. That was amazing. And I mean, I want to have that level of, to enter business one day. Yeah, and your end game.
I think for me, my end game is to keep creating art in whatever way, because I know that I'm not going to keep doing the same things, so it's going to manifest itself in different ways. I know that in the evolution of my work, that's how it's always going to be. So keep creating art, keep making an impact, and build wealth, and be surrounded by love. It's very important for me that I have, support system, family, friendships that are meaningful and they're rich. So because I think we get so lost in the work that we do,
Yeah.
we are defined by it a lot of the time. We are so caged by it sometimes that we don't want to evolve because we don't know ourselves outside of that thing.
Yeah.
And I think it's so vital that you have systems around you that remind you of being a person first. So being surrounded by love, having a
Real
tight,
friends,
real
real
support
people,
system,
real family.
you know, yes, all of those things that ground you. I think it's so, especially for creative people, it's so vital
so
because
vital.
we give so much in the thing that
so
we,
much.
and we give so much of ourselves, right, in a way that people don't understand.
Yeah.
So you need an anchor
Yeah.
for your own sanity, and that's why they always tell you, creative people they have a propensity towards mental health illnesses. And it's a very real thing. Whatever art it is you are doing, to create art, you are going into depths of consciousness that you shouldn't naturally do as a person.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you need to be anchored.
Yeah. And you personally?
Oh, for me, I want to be successful. And when I say successful, success for me is a destination. Success is not a hit song. Success is so many things that will come on that journey. So this is the journey. I want to be happy on this journey until I get to success. And you know what? This journey never ends. Because when you think that you are successful, there's still so much more that you can conquer. So for me, success never ends. So when I say I want to be successful, it means I want to continually be on this journey with happiness.
Wow.
Rick?
I mean, everything everybody has said,
It's correct.
plus everything everybody has said, plus I'll just say, know yourself and be honest with yourself. A lot of people are not honest with themselves. Just look at yourself and be honest. Check yourself all the time. And that's something I do almost on a daily basis. Know yourself, be honest with yourself, and check yourself.
Don't ignore red flags.
Always. Always.
Thank you guys so much for being so gracious to have this conversation with me. Thank you very much.
Offering time.
This is Live Podcast is sponsored by Enterprise Live Nigeria, and you can follow them on social media at Enterprise Live Nigeria.